Awesome. Okay, so let's jump in. So sleep, but from the perspective of fat loss and muscle gain. This will probably make you a little angry, okay? But that's good. That's what I'm here to do. Make you guys really angry at night. So let's see if I can live up to my potential here. All right, so here is the overwhelming idea that is brutal to understand. Okay, you can train perfectly, you can eat perfectly, and sleep can fuck it all up. Okay, and this is literal. Okay, this isn't even figurative, and we're gonna kind of go into why. But even mild sleep restriction, guys, that means 40 minutes. That's defined in the research as 40 minutes. That means you slept 40 minutes less than you should have. By the way, should have is already probably a lot more than what you guys are doing, which I'm going to also go into. But even 40 minutes less than should have flips the ratio of fat to muscle you can lose on a cut almost 100%, as I'm going to get to in a second. Sleep is not just like an accessory to recovery. It is literally the biggest variable other than training itself that can influence muscle. Think about that. Sleep is the biggest thing aside from training itself that can actually influence muscle. And to put it a different way, when it comes to fat loss, sleep is the biggest thing other than eating low calorie itself that will actually aid in fat loss. It's absolutely it's crazy. Okay, so it's actually kind of annoying, but so a couple of things that are really bad, we'll say, and why these effects happen. We'll go over what those effects are in just a second. But on average, okay, your testosterone for the guys at least lowers by about 13%. This is just from one bad night, by the way. This is one bad night of sleep. This isn't chronic bad sleep. This is one day where you slept a little bit less than you should have. Minus 13% of testosterone. Awesome. Growth hormone plummets. Cortisol increases dramatically. Insulin sensitivity goes down. Protein synthesis drops by about 20%, which is a lot. Yeah, this is just one bad night. All right. Insulin sensitivity, by the way, if that drops, that means you get less storage into the muscle. When you're sleeping, that is when fat tissue or muscle gain happens, right? So it's the time in which your body will create new tissue, whether it's fat or muscle, depends on a whole bunch of different things in terms of total calories, training stimulus, and things like insulin sensitivity, growth hormone, testosterone, etc. So if you're having a bad night of sleep and these things plummet, your ability to create the right tissue is going to be dramatically reduced. Okay, so essentially, anabolic hormones are completely suppressed. All the other guys go up, which is like the stress hormones. Now, here's an interesting research study. Okay, this is the guy's name. If you guys want to, I'm not even going to try to pronounce that. I have no idea what the fuck that guy's name is, but that's it. So if you want to look at that, you can research it yourself. But this is crazy. Okay, so two groups eating the exact same thing calorically. So they were in the exact same amount of deficit. So deficit to me and that person is different, but we were both eating at 20% deficit. Okay, that means that we would both be losing the same amount of weight. Okay, so we're both dieting, eating the same shit, eating the same calorie deficit, right? Eating the same yogurt, egg white muffins, and all the other crap, right? We're doing it. Everybody's doing the hard work. Training is exactly the same. Okay, the amount of sets, going to failure, doing the work, busting your ass in the gym, exactly the same in the two groups. So nutrition, exercise, everything, exactly the same. One group was sleep deprived. They defined that as 5 hours of sleep. Okay, so that is sleep deprived, okay, by definition. All right. So 5 hours a night, sleep deprived, 7.5 hours a night was the normal group. Same conditions, okay? I can't say it's enough. Workouts, exercise, everything's the fucking same. The difference from just sleeping 2.5 hours more was that this group lost 1.4 kilograms. This group lost a half a kilogram. This is essentially fuck, 1 point something pounds, and this is 4 pounds. It's 100% difference. They lost double the fat. But here's what's crazier: they lost half the muscle. So to put it another way, just from sleeping 2.5 hours more, this group lost 50% or almost 100% more fat. So they doubled the fat loss and they cut muscle loss in half. So think about this, okay? Think about you and your twin, okay? Your exact same body, eating the same shit. You're both getting up and doing the egg whites. You're starving and you're having a bunch of mushrooms instead. You're not eating ice cream, not going out to dinner, right? You're going to the gym. You're doing 10 fucking sets of shit. You're seeing red, right? You're putting all the effort in there. You're going to failure. You're doing the whole thing. But this dude slept 2 hours more than you. He is going to lose 50% more fat and retain 50% more muscle than you are. What does that mean in numbers? That means after a few months of this, hold on, I have to actually do the math. This is going to be crazy. Let's see. Let's see exactly what this means. 10, 2.2, 1.3. Okay. Lance, remember 1.3.
Okay.
All right. 3.8. Okay, what did I say? 1.3?
Yep.
Okay. All right, so that means in about, let's say, 8 weeks of time, if you just slept, you did nothing different, but you just slept 2 hours more per night, you would have lost almost 20 pounds more fat. What the fuck? That's crazy. Just from sleeping. Right? So the point is, guys, that's like the same numbers you get taking steroids. Literally. Like that is like literally like you're taking steroids. That like when that effect on muscle would be essentially you taking steroids just from you sleeping. Crazy. Now, just 40 minutes less sleep has a dramatic impact. Okay. So we had normal sleep, weight lost 20%. So basically, they had two groups, right? So one group, normal sleep, one group, not normal sleep. Okay. Defined as 5 hours again. Okay. This group, went of all the weight that they lost, 20% of it was lean tissue. That could be water, that could be muscle. Okay. This group, 80% lean tissue. That's fucking nuts. Okay. So sleep is the only difference here. Exercise, nutrition, everything is exactly the same. Just 40 minutes less, 40 fucking minutes less took you from losing every 10 pounds you lost, 2 pounds of that was lean tissue, to 8 pounds of that being lean tissue from 40 fucking minutes of less sleep. What the fuck? If you guys want to look at this study, you can look at Wang over here. Okay, Wang and Tunnel. I guess those fucking names. I don't know, but he's whatever. They're doing God's work.
Hey,
over
Devin,
here.
can I ask you a question? Can I interrupt?
Yeah, go ahead.
What happens if you sleep in the 7 hours, 7.5 hours, but you're waking up 4 times a night to pee from the gallon of water?
So I'm actually gonna get there. That's a good point.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'll get it. Well, maybe not exactly there, but kind of there. But 7 hours is still better than not. But good point. I'm gonna get back to that because that comes down to the cycles, which I'll get into. So same thing. I think we kind of get this. I'm going to beat this to a dead horse, but it's another research study. Pretty much shows the exact same thing. Okay. There's another one. This one's actually even more fucked up. They looked at people. They did 12 months of people just supplementing with melatonin and doing nothing else. So all they did was sleep better for a year, and the pounds of fat that they lost and the gain and the lean mass that they gained was around the same, about 50% difference. Another study there. So cool. So now why? Okay. So what is actually happening? And there's a couple of things that are obvious and there's a couple of things that are not so obvious. So number one, your resting metabolism drops. Now, this is interesting because a lot of times people will think that if you're awake longer, you're going to burn more. Right now, that kind of makes sense if you think about this at first. If I'm awake for 20 hours of the day, I'm moving more, right? Like I'm around, I'm moving, I'm walking here, I'm walking there, like I'm doing stuff, right? You think that if I'm up for 20 hours doing stuff, that I'm going to be burning more calories than if I was, let's say, sleeping for 4 hours longer, which would also mean I'm moving 4 hours less, right? That would kind of intuitively make sense. But of course, that's just not how it works at all. Now, what people don't realize is that you burn a shit ton of calories sleeping, actually. And especially if you have not enough to repair, this is the point. This is the time where your body's creating tissues. It's the time that your organs are being detoxified. There's a lot that happens while you're sleeping, which is part of the problem, because if you're not able to actually sleep long enough, you can't even create the tissue or get rid of the tissue. You're not literally not giving yourself enough time to do it. But it also takes a lot of energy. The other thing is, and I don't even know if that's on the slide, actually. Kind of. But the other thing is, when you're sleep deprived, you don't fucking move. You think that you may be moving, you're not. You're like sitting on the TV, you're sitting at the desk, you're not being active. You're barely moving unless you're forcing yourself. So if you have a step number or a step tracker, you may force yourself to get to those 10,000 steps, but not all steps are equal, right? If I'm walking here to there, and I'm dragging ass, completely different than if I'm skipping my way over there. Right? An easy way to think about it is if I go from here and I run there, let's say it's 100 steps, okay? I'm burning a lot more calories running those 100 steps than I am walking, right? So not every step is equal. And that's the other part of that. So even if you're getting your step count in, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be burning the same amount of calories as you would. There's other things that come into this too, though, that are a lot less obvious, like fidgeting. People who fidget like I am, if you guys can't notice, I fucking move everywhere. I can't stop moving. My foot has been going for like an hour over here. He's putting some work in. Fucking shit. Anyway, now I got distracted. Oh, fidgeters. So people who fidget, on average, burn around 400 to 600 calories per day more than people who don't fidget. It burns like I think 6 times the amount of calories as laying down or something like that. I don't know. It's weird. But anyway, the point is there's a lot of things that you don't even realize about your body and movement that would actually make you burn a lot less calories during the day if you're sleep deprived, which is really interesting. The other issues are a little bit more obvious. Appetite spikes. Okay, when you're underslept, you got that hole in the stomach hunger. Which is hard to fill up, especially even if you're trying to eat really filling meals. You may not be able to do it too perfectly when you kind of have that hole. If you sleep a little bit more, appetite is highly regulated, or a lot more regulated. So your appetite's suppressed. I'm pretty sure people eat, I think it was around 300 calories more on average when they're sleep deprived per day, something like that. Or put another way, if you sleep enough, you'll ad libitum, which means that if you were just on your own eating, you would eat 300 calories less per day, just normally, which is pretty crazy. Other things are a little bit, I guess, kind of obvious. Self-control collapses. Okay, this is your ability. It's called executive function. It's your ability to make a good decision in your own best interest. Okay, people think of that as willpower. What's actually called is executive function. That entirely collapses when you're sleep deprived. And then, of course, muscle protein synthesis drops directly. So this is, the actual muscle growth itself. It's the muscle protein synthesis being increased, synthesis meaning being created. Okay, so building that tissue. It is literally being stopped because you're literally getting up. So you're literally not giving yourself the time to do it, which is interesting. So a couple of things. Your calories you burn go down. Your appetite goes up, which makes it a lot easier to take in calories. Okay, your self-control collapses, which makes it a lot easier to take in calories. And even if somehow you made sure your activity was high and you made sure that you kept the 7 calories no matter what, even still your muscle protein synthesis is going to drop, which means if you're losing the same amount of weight as you were before, but you're sleep deprived, a way bigger percentage of that is going to be muscle and not fat. Okay, and that's what this showed. Okay, where you went from 20% lean mass loss to 80, massive. Okay, now here's the answer, Tim. So here's here's why like 7.5 actually matters. So it's not about hours, it's about cycles. It's about understanding how sleep works and what happens during the cycle. So there's this, cycle one, which is, or I'm sorry, one cycle is 90 minutes. Phase one of a cycle would be light transition. Okay. This is like, you laying down and you're starting to like, go down a little bit. The thinking's starting to stop. Something's about to happen, right? You're kind of relaxed. Then there's actual sleep where you fall asleep. And then there's deep sleep. This, by the way, is where the physical change happens. So deep sleep, which is that third stage, okay, is the deep sleep. This is growth hormones release. This is where testosterone, muscle protein synthesis. This is the guy that's getting suffered if you're not sleeping enough. Well, part of the guy, one of the guys anyway. But this is where the physical reconstruction happens, okay? Muscle gain actually increases, okay? Then after that, which is the last little bit of the 90-minute cycle, is REM sleep. This is where memory consolidation. Think of this as like the mental. This is more of the physical recovery. This is more of the mental recovery. Okay, so if you feel groggy, if you feel you can't concentrate, that's essentially you not getting enough REM sleep. This is the last little bit of sleep. Okay, 30 to 60 minutes or so. Now, so Tim, to answer your question, usually if you're waking up to pee, it's in here. It's usually these guys. 1 and 2, and that's not terrible. The real question is whether you're able to fall back asleep enough to get the full cycle in. This is why, like, if you guys have ever, I feel like you guys can all test this. Has anybody woken up, even if the hours were the same? So imagine two different scenarios. I'm sure this has probably happened to you guys, where you slept the same amount of time, but one time you woke up by yourself, and another time you woke up by an alarm. And even if hours being the same, sometimes waking up by alarm makes you want to shoot yourself in the foot, right? It's just awful. Like hearing that sound is just like, oh, I can hear it like somebody else's alarm go off and it gives me like PTSD. I fucking hate it. But the point is, when you're waking up actually matters too. Because if you're waking up in the middle of a REM or a deep wave cycle, then you're not getting that benefit. You're disrupting it, right? Usually, if you're waking up naturally, then your body's kind of it's out of REM, it's out of deep sleep, and it's in those light transition sleeps where it's actually normal to get up. And so usually, what somebody told me, especially about going to the bathroom in particular, was that it's never usually. So there actually is a condition. I forgot what it's called, but wait, hold on, I just had it. Nocturia, I think it is. It's some shit like that. That's actually like the medical condition that you actually get up to pee. I think it's something like that. There's actually a medical condition where that's a thing, where you actually are being woken up to pee. But usually that's not the case. Usually people are waking up and then have to pee. They're not waking up to pee. Does that make sense? So usually that's happening in like the former stages of sleep, and that's normal. So it's not necessarily bad to have to wake up to go to the bathroom. But you want to make sure you're falling asleep very quickly after. That's the difference. So like if you do go up to go to the bathroom, but then you fall asleep, you're probably fine. But if you're go to sleep or you go to the bathroom and it takes you like, 30 or 40 minutes to knock back out, that's a problem.
No, that's good. That's good. I'm once my head hits the pillow, I'm back out.
Yeah, perfect. So you got that down there. You're good. Now here's something else that's interesting, because for all the hard workers out there, I get it. You get used to getting not enough sleep, right? And some people, there is actually some people who do work better getting less sleep. This is actually a genetic thing, where like some people can get 5 hours of sleep and it's actually enough. It's just rare. Unfortunately, most people think they're that person because they're used to getting a lot less sleep than they should, because they actually benefit from it. But here's what's interesting. So sleep debt is a thing, and sleep debt compounds. It gets worse. The more times that you go not getting that full amount of sleep, the worse overall it gets, even if you don't feel it. Okay, so 1 hour a night for 8 nights is literally, to your body, from a cognitive perspective, from reaction time to IQ tests to executive function or decision quality, 1 hour of sleep per night less than you should be getting is literally the equivalent as if you just did an all-nighter. Your body will react the same. They've actually done this. They did a research study where they had people sleep 1 hour less every day, and they had other people who did literally an all-nighter, and the reaction time decrease was actually the same. So in other words, the two people were reacting as if it was the same condition. 1 hour a night in 8 weeks, I mean, Jesus, 8 days, was the equivalent of these guys not sleeping at all. Whoa, crazy, right? So you think you may be safe by like, kind of going with it and you getting used to it, but you're not. And this is what they call zombie mode. You feel adapted. You feel like it's normal, but the objective performance markers drop. Now, the catch up has to has to be literally hour for hour or close. So if you undersleep for, let's say, 6 hours, then you have to oversleep for 6 hours to make up for it. Problem is when you're paying off that sleep that you feel like shit. So a lot of times when people oversleep to catch up, they feel like zombies the next day. It's because their brain is recalibrating and it takes a little bit to get back to normal, to get back to good, so to speak. So very interesting stuff. Okay. So even though you may feel okay, the objective markers decrease anyway. And this is, again, they prove this in research studies through IQ tests, through concentration tests, through executive function tests, where they've proved this. Even if somebody felt like they were okay, their reaction times and the data was way different than what it was when they were sleeping normally. Okay. They just didn't see it. They didn't feel it. You get used to it. But it doesn't mean that the effect is not happening. Okay. And for our perspective, that also means that the fat loss, muscle gain effects are still happening, right? Whether you are okay and are able to will through sleeping less, that doesn't mean your body is not reacting the way that it would be, right? That's the difference. Now, a couple of things to optimize sleep. Some of this stuff is obvious and some of it's not. So regular biorhythm, this is really important. Like this is, so I'll give you an example for me. I go to sleep, Linz can attest to this. I usually go to sleep at like 5 in the morning, sometimes 6 in the morning. Yeah, I'm up all fucking night. I get a lot of shit done from like midnight to 5 a.m. It's nuts. I work out at midnight. It's crazy. Now, my dude just had a heart attack. That's my biorhythm. Okay. I am used to that. My body's used to that. When it comes to like 4 or 5, I literally have on my calendar, guys, like it literally says at 4:30 in the morning to eat dinner and wind down for bed at 4:30 in the morning. That's like, all right, now I gotta go to sleep kind of thing. But anyway, the point of this is when your body gets used to it, you want to actually keep it because that's how your body knows it's sleep time. And if I went to bed at midnight, let's say, my body would be really confused. The quality of sleep, how fast my body was able to get into those sleep rhythms would be massively different than if I went to bed at my normal time at 5 in the morning. Even though it's not normal at all, to my body, it's normal. Right. So the point of that is whatever you guys like get synced to, you want to maintain. You want to, my computer's freezing. You guys still see me right here? Okay. So you want to try to get your sleep times and for that matter, your wake times and your meal times, ideally within an hour or two per day. So in other words, like you don't want to vary it more than an hour or two if you can. That would give you the best benefit, benefit to your biorhythm. The second really important thing is bright light in the morning. Okay, so as soon as you wake up, like one of the things that I do immediately, even during the winter, I was doing this. As soon as I wake up, I go outside. I try to beat myself. Like if I can think straight before I get outside, I fucked up. Like I want to be tripping over shit, like trying to get outside because I don't know what's going on. Like I try to get outside really fast while I'm still like delirious so I can get the sun to hit my brain to say, oh shit, he's getting up. Okay. What that does is it increases cortisol, which is a good thing because your cortisol should be going up as soon as you wake up. You just don't want it at night. So that at night, melatonin goes up. Okay. So as soon as you get up, get into bright light. If you don't, like, obviously it's getting nice out for most of us here, so shouldn't be a problem. But if you ever had a problem where you couldn't go outside, they make all these blue light glasses that you can put on and the blue light will shine in your eyes as if the sun is like beating into your eyes. So they're really cool. You can buy those on like Amazon and stuff. There's blue light glasses essentially. Really cool stuff. But now, and they also make Philips Go Light is another thing. They have like stationary lights too. You don't have to get the glasses. You might look ridiculous, but it's fine. But they do make like the actual spotlight versions where you can put them on a desk or something. But either way, if you can't get outside, then use one of those. But getting light as soon as you wake up is really important. And then at night, you want to try to block the light. So this app right here, so they make glasses and stuff, but this Flux, I don't know if you guys can see that. It's kind of small, but that's an app that you can get for like your phone and the computer. And it'll basically just automatically wind down the blue light at night. So you can still see your phone and stuff. It's just the blue light itself goes down. A pre-bed meal, again, meals and biorhythms, sleeps, all should be generally the same. Limit the fluids. It's for you, Tim. So last couple hours, try to get your water in earlier in the day so you're not peeing all the time. Melatonin can definitely help. So if anybody has a problem falling asleep, melatonin is the answer for that. Okay. So falling asleep, melatonin helps with. Just make sure you're not in light. So if I take melatonin and I'm in this, it's going to take the melatonin right out. They've had research where they've given people 20 milligrams of melatonin. The most you should ever take is like 2, 5 if you're getting crazy. By the way, if you take too much, you'll feel groggy the next day. So if you feel groggy, that means melatonin was too much. Take less next time. You'll probably be fine. But they've given people 20 milligrams of melatonin at night, and they've taken their blood and there was nothing in there if they were in light, because light will literally get melatonin out of your body. So like you want to make sure if you're taking melatonin, that's actually going to work, which means you can't be in light. So you want to, basically have the lights on dim if they're on. Make sure your bedroom's cold. I don't know if you guys can see this, but when I say cold, there's a value here. Does anybody read what that says? Can anybody see that? 62 degrees. 60 fucking 2 degrees. That's cold. That's cold. Lindsay sleeps with like 105 degrees. But 62 is cold. You guys put your like ACs on, like 62 is it's getting pretty cold. The point is, if you go in your bedroom, you should need to get into the covers. Okay, think about that. If you get into your bedroom and you don't need to be in your covers, it's not cold enough. And it makes a big difference. Honestly, is darkness in here? Where's darkness? Bed and pillow. Where's the fuck is... I guess it goes to melatonin. But if there's 2 things that I would tell you to do, 3 things. I'm sorry, I lied. 3 things that you could do to sleep way better, literally starting tonight. These 3 things will do it. Number 1, make it cold. Literally make it cold, like colder than you think it should be. Get that AC on, pump it, put that thing to 62 degrees. Okay, it's gonna be huge. Second thing, dark. If you go into your room, like I don't care what you gotta do, put towels on the windows or something, whatever you gotta do, make it look crazy. Make it dark so that you literally, ideally, you can't see your hand in front of your face. If you're in your bedroom and you can't see your hand, that's dark enough. Okay, that's how dark it actually should be. It should be cold. It should be dark, like literally hitting shit. Like you don't know where you are. Okay, that kind of dark. And then the last thing is white noise. Okay. If you blast white noise in your bedroom, I promise you're going to sleep like a baby. But make sure you do the one that's steady. I have it on my playlist, always ready to rock and roll. So I'll play you a little tune right now.
My number 1 song of the year.
I didn't even do anything other than pull up Spotify, and there it is. I think it's going to play from my speaker. Do you guys hear that? Kind of.
I heard it when it first came on, but not now.
It was playing in my speaker over there. Oh, man. How do I not play on my goddamn speaker?
I find white noise really annoying.
I do too, if it's the wrong one.
Okay, Jesus. Well, if you tell me which one, I'll try it. I mean, I hear Times Square. That's my white noise.
Look at download.
Do you have Spotify?
No, I have Amazon Music.
Oh, I can copy link. I'm going to send this. Okay, hold on. There we go. Everybody in the WhatsApp groups is like, what the fuck is going on?
You snooze, you lose.
That's it.
Literally.
White noise. So here's the thing. That's the link. That should work. That's the exact one that I use. But that one's steady. So the thing with white noise is you want it to be steady. There's some like the Amazon ones where it's like raining and shit, where things change.
Yeah, it's so annoying. And British people
No.
talking to you. Shut up.
No, none of that shit either. Yeah, hell no. This just sounds like an air conditioner zone, but it's just really loud.
Okay.
But if you do this really loud, ideally you wouldn't be able to hear. I know this is probably dangerous in a lot of ways, but you shouldn't be able to hear anybody walk outside your bedroom. First off,
I live in one room, so
yeah, perfect. You're good. You're gonna love this. Promise, Steve. If anybody walks by my room, it sounds like a fucking war zone. It's like it's cold. There's a lot of shit going on in there. It's dark. You can't see anything anyway. So it's great. But it's amazing. It's those three things, though. What are you gonna say, Liz?
It's like a tropical jungle.
Yes. It's great. Welcome.
okay.
So if you do those three things, it makes a massive difference. You can do that literally tonight. Then you just take that. You can play it on your phone. Even if you're like sleep with somebody or something, it's in the room. Like it sounds weird for like the first 10 seconds, and then you literally don't hear it anymore. It's the point of white noise. Like it cancels out all other noise. So that what it's loud though. I would put it louder than you think. Like I blast it like literally as loud as my phone goes. That's what I leave it on. But even that wasn't enough for me half the time.
I have a question about that because I have a sleep app that I turn on at night. It tracks my sleep. I think if I put white noise on my phone, it'll mess with the sleep app. I'm not sure.
It shouldn't. You should be able to play. You should be able to play audio and have like everything else going at the same time.
All right.
It shouldn't mess with it like too much.
Okay.
Yeah, you
I'll
should
try it.
Try it. Yeah. If not, you could always there's actually they sell on Amazon and stuff. They have like white noise machines. And they're like pretty cheap, like $10 or something. And they'll play like that. It'll be the same thing, basically.
Right.
I go back.
I'll try.
And then things like a bath, so this is where things get a little different. So like if you're anxious and you're not sleeping because of anxiety, that's different. Then warm bath kind of deal, meditation, GABA supplements. So it's like Valerian root and things like that can help. Magnesium can help a little bit. But those things are a little bit different. That's working on you staying asleep. And then you want to limit caffeine, especially if that's you. And then bed and pillow should be harder than you think. Most people don't sleep well when it's actually super soft. We're used to sleeping in fucking caves. So just keep that in mind. And us as in humans, I mean, not literally us. Okay, so anyway, 2 types of insomnias. To be wary of. Can't fall asleep on time. Okay, so this is can't fall asleep right away. It takes you a long time to fall asleep. You're kind of off and on with when you're tired and when you're not. This is usually your body clock. Okay, so this is your wake times, your sleep times, this is your meal times. Things are off. You're not regular. Okay, so you fix that by being regular, but making sure you get bright light early in the day. That's the refresh button. Okay. If you're trying to get up at a certain time, get up at that time and go outside, get light. That's your body saying, okay, this is hour 1 of being awake. The clock starts with when you're going to go to sleep. Okay. But your body doesn't know when that clock starts unless you get that light. Okay. And then you want to, on the same side, you want to prevent that light at night because then you're going to reset the clock. Right. It's the reason why casinos have bright ass light and no outside windows. They want you to be here and they want it to be constant daytime where your cortisol is rock and roll. And then melatonin is a good supplement for that. Okay. Because that can help you kind of force that time at night. As long as you're not in light, that will help force this biorhythm. Okay. That's why melatonin is a really good supplement to travel with, because if you have jet lag, like there's different hour differences, you can force that difference change with melatonin and getting up early and getting to the sun. Racing thoughts at night. So this is more anxiety. Okay, so if you have things that pop up in your head when you're lying down and you can't sleep, your mind won't shut up. I get it. So a couple things: mindfulness/meditation, actually meditating, breath work, things like that will calm down your brain. It'll trigger your sympathetic nervous system, parasympathetic nervous system. Warm shower or bath can help too. Saunas and shit like that can help. GABA supplements. So again, Valerian root is a good one. Magnesium. A lot of sleep medications are made under here. So like most sleep drugs that are prescribed would fall kind of in this realm. This doesn't necessarily change it with sleep drugs. And then cutting up caffeine within like 8 hours of going to sleep helps a lot too, because that's going to drive up those thoughts. Another thing that I would say, if this is the problem, is just to have an outlet for the thoughts. So like your brain, the way stress works is it's not necessarily the thing that's stressing you that keeps you up. It's not knowing what to do about the thing that's stressing you that keeps you up. So if you write down a plan of what to do, your body will let you sleep. Okay. So it's like, oh shit, I may get fired tomorrow. Okay. If you just keep thinking about that, you're probably not going to sleep. Right. But if you make a rule where it's like, okay, tomorrow when I wake up, I'm going to apply to 5 different jobs, you'll be able to sleep. Okay. You still may get fired tomorrow, but your brain is going to let you sleep because there's a plan. Okay. Which is the point. That makes sense.
It's basically called like brain dumping before you go to bed. Just I usually use like my ChatGPT now, but I have a section just for like structure for my day, because at night I'm like, did I do everything I had to do? Did I answer all my check-ins? Is everybody okay? I'm going through my phone. My brain is just all over the place. So I'll actually open up like my chat or like my notes, put on the microphone, and I just talk into it like, okay, I have to do this, I have to do this, I have to do this. Brain dump everything out. So when I wake up in the morning, it makes me a nice little list, and then I go down my list to make sure it all gets taken care of. Otherwise, I also have ADHD, so I won't remember. So it also helps me if I don't write it